We all know the feeling of watching the draft clock tick down while our hearts race in our chests. For the New York Giants, that tension reached a breaking point during the first round as a franchise-altering star almost slipped through their fingers in Pittsburgh. As an insider who has seen many draft rooms, I can tell you this was a close call that would have changed everything. Please help us reach our goal of 500 subscribers on the channel, and remember to leave a like right now. Francis Mauigoa was the man the front office desperately wanted, but the path to landing him was a complete emotional roller coaster for every fan involved. Our head coach, John Harbaugh, along with general manager Joe Schoen, had a very specific plan for this first round after acquiring the 10th overall pick from the Cincinnati Bengals. This pick was the massive return from the Dexter Lawrence trade, which already had the city talking. Initially, at pick number 5, the team took linebacker Arvell Reese because he was simply too talented to pass up at that spot. However, the real gamble started immediately after that selection. The plan was to pair the defensive star with a powerhouse for the offensive line, and that is where the drama truly began. Two other teams in the NFC saw exactly what we saw, and they tried to move up to the 9th spot to steal our guy right before we could call his name. These rival teams were calling the Cleveland Browns, trying to strike a deal that would have jumped them one slot ahead of Big Blue. It was a classic draft day chess match that almost left us empty-handed. The Browns had already moved down once with the Kansas City Chiefs and were looking for the right price to move again. If either of those NFC rivals had offered just a little bit more, the big man from Miami would be wearing a different jersey today. Instead, the Browns decided to stay put and took Spencer Fano, which finally cleared the way for our front office to breathe a sigh of relief. We were essentially holding our breath for 45 minutes as the picks rolled by. If the draft had gone differently, we might have been looking at safety Caleb Downs, who ended up going to the Cowboys at 11. But the stars aligned, and we secured the protector we needed. This wasn't just a lucky break. It was the result of a front office standing their ground and praying their scouting report was mirrored by a bit of draft day fortune. Now, we have a cornerstone player who can change the physical identity of this offense for years. The decision to focus on the offensive line at that 10th spot shows a clear commitment to protecting the future of this franchise. This young man stands at a massive 6'6" and weighs over 300 pounds, providing the kind of physical presence that this division demands. Last season in college, this prospect was the absolute gold standard for pass protection among all tackle candidates. His technique is refined beyond his years, and his ability to move his feet against faster pass rushers is something that really stood out to the scouting department. When you look at the raw data, the numbers are staggering because he allowed only 2 sacks over more than 400 passing snaps. That level of efficiency is exactly what has been missing from our front five for a long time. Even though he played tackle in college, the plan is to slide him into the right guard position to solidify the interior of the line immediately. This move is brilliant because it puts a high-end talent in a spot where he can dominate smaller defenders while using his tackle experience to help out on the edge if needed. He has even been spending time training with former team veteran John Feliciano, learning the nuances of the professional game and the specific expectations of playing in front of this demanding crowd. It is about creating a wall that allows our playmakers to actually do their jobs without looking over their shoulders every 2 seconds. The front office saw a player who could not only start on day one, but also elevate the performance of the men playing next to him. His strength at the point of attack is legendary, and his hand placement is already at a professional level. For a team that has struggled to find consistency in the trenches, landing a prospect with an 87.0 pass blocking grade feels like a massive victory. We are talking about a guy who rarely gets beat and never gives up on a play. That blue-collar mentality is exactly what fits the culture that the current coaching staff is trying to build in the locker room right now. This pick matters because it finally addresses the biggest weakness that has held this team back for nearly a decade. If you cannot block, you cannot win football games, and it is as simple as that. By securing this massive lineman, the team is making a direct investment in the health of the quarterback and the success of the entire offense. This move could help them win more games right away, because the running backs will finally have actual lanes to run through. We have seen too many seasons go down the drain because the pocket collapsed the moment the ball was snapped. That era has to end if we ever want to see another trophy in the building. He needs to build the pocket clearly plate, saying. The build is that era has to end if we ever want to see another trophy in the building. This selection means the team can now run a more complex playbook because they can trust the protection to hold up for more than 3 seconds. It takes the pressure off everyone else. The receivers can run longer routes, and the play caller doesn't have to worry about max protection on every single down. If this young man plays up to his potential, he will turn a leaky offensive line into a position of strength. That is the difference between being a middle-of-the-pack team and a true contender in the NFC East. We are tired of seeing our stars get hit before they even have a chance to make a move. This is about changing the math on the field. When you have a dominant force at guard, it changes how the defense has to attack you. They can't just blitz up the middle with impunity anymore. They have to respect the power and the talent sitting right there in the middle of the formation. It also sends a message to the rest of the league that we are done being pushed around in our own stadium. This is a tough, physical move that reflects the identity of the city itself. We want to be the team that imposes its will on the opponent, not the other way around. Every successful season in our history was built on the back of a strong offensive line, and this move brings us one step closer to that reality once again. Imagine the best-case scenario where this rookie steps onto the field and immediately looks like an all-pro. The offensive line finally becomes a cohesive unit that can bully defensive fronts into submission. In this version of reality, the run game becomes one of the best in the league because there is a massive hole opened up on the right side every single time we need a yard. The quarterback stays clean, his jersey stays white, and the offense scores 30 points a game. It is the dream we have all been waiting for, and it feels closer than ever. But we also have to look at the other side of the coin because the stakes are incredibly high here. If this transition to the professional level doesn't go smoothly, or if the move from tackle to guard proves to be too difficult, we could be right back where we started. If he fails to adjust to the speed of the NFL, we will have spent a top 10 pick on a player who can't help us win now. That would be a devastating blow to the front office and the fans who have put so much faith in this draft class. The tension is real because we almost didn't even get the chance to find out. Those other teams were ready to snatch him away, and we would have been left with a safety while our line remained a mess. That would have been a disaster for the season's outlook. The difference between a winning season and another year of disappointment often comes down to just one or two players in the trenches. We are gambling on his talent and his work ethic to carry us through the tough divisional games in November and December. If he succeeds, he becomes a legend in this town. If he struggles, the critics will be louder than ever. This is the tightrope that every team walks during the draft. You either find the missing piece of the puzzle, or you find yourself searching for answers yet again next spring. The margin for error is razor thin, and the pressure on this young athlete to perform from the very first snap is going to be immense. At the end of the day, the Giants got the man they wanted, even if it took a few miracles and a lot of nerves to make it happen. We walked away with a premier defensive talent and the best pass protector in the draft class. This double dip in the top 10 could be the defining moment of the Joe Scone era. It shows a clear vision for a team that wants to be big, mean, and impossible to beat at the line of scrimmage. But I want to know what you think about this wild turn of events. Be honest with me. Do you think moving him from tackle to guard is the right move for his development? Or should we have just kept him on the edge? It is a huge risk, but the reward could be even bigger. We are working hard to bring you the best insider coverage, so please help us hit our goal of 500 subscribers and join our community. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep these deep dives coming. Don't forget to like the video and stay tuned for more.